Boys, what is going on? J-Bell here. I've got a little different style of video today. This one's probably going to be a bit longer if I had to guess. Because I kind of want to do a deeper dive on the mechanical aspects of Rocket League. Uh, so, let me start out with saying kind of what are the mechanical aspects of Rocket League? Well, what they are your mechanics. So if you think movement, air dribbling, flip resetting, dribbling, just dashing around the field, or just every like movement aspect of the game using your flip, whatever it can be. I want to dive at least surface level into each part. And what I plan to do is I kind of plan to make this a series. And I know I have videos up. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the air dribble tutorial. I'm sure a lot of you have seen the flip reset stuff. But what I want to do is I make a series of me. This is kind of the starting one. I want to do a surface level explanation of all these different mechanics. And then in the future, I'm going to do deeper dives into each aspect of the mechanic, how to use it, how to improve it, how to start learning how to do it, and just all these different aspects. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good way for a lot of you all to sort of improve your mechanics, regardless of what level you're at. And it's hopefully a way for me myself to improve my mechanics because they aren't where I'd like them to be, simply because I'm not Daniel. So that's what I'm doing today. It's gonna be a bit longer. I can see this going well into 30 plus minutes. So kick back, relax, grab some popcorn, and yeah. And I will have a message for some of you all kind of at the end of the video if you're interested. Otherwise, I'm gonna try and keep timestamps. Thank you to the one that reached out to me on Discord, told me timestamps were something I should use because I forgot they were a thing. So I'm going to use timestamps to make it easier to get around the video, get to what part you want, because I know not all of you want to sit through an entire, you want to sit through every mechanic in Rocket League. So I'm going to use timestamps, and we're gonna have a good time. So sit back, grab some popcorn, grab a Diet Coke, relax, and get into this. Alright, and getting into part number one, we are going to be getting into movement. So what is movement, right? Well, it's how you move your car around, right? So you can see here, I'm driving. I can go forward, I can go backwards, I can jump, I can flip, I can air roll, I can normal air roll, I can free air roll, other ways. I have boost, and boosting while jumping allows me to go in the air, right? And if I get in the air, then I could, flip if I have one, and all this other bits. But what is movement? Well, movement is how you move your car, obviously. And so you might be wondering, like, how am I going to talk about movement? How much am I going to talk about movement? How much of a dive can I go into movement? Honestly, there's a lot to talk about, but because I want to keep this relatively brief, what I'm going to say is that movement comes down to a couple of factors. It's your momentum and the current position, like the current play. Something you want to look for while you're moving around the field is, and it's something I've heard SSLs talk about, and I don't remember what video it was. It might have been Sibo. But it basically is a thing of, like, it's true. If you're ever in a situation where you need to reverse, need to half flip, you're in the wrong position. But having movement allows you to recover bad positions much easier than if you didn't. As you can see here, I'm dashing around the field. I'm keeping supersonic, and I'm using a very minimal amount of boost, right? That should be the goal. You want to keep a speed with as minimal boost as possible. And something my coach has taught me is that on recoveries, right, you want to try and use less than 20 boost whenever you're recovering. And so if I was to turn this on to standard, run around, use a bunch of boost, it's almost hard to use this much boost, I'll be honest. But as you can see, I can kind of keep going. I'm going to make myself awkward. I'm going to collect that boost, got my dummy poo-poo head. And we're just going to kind of speed around. Now, what am I doing here? Well, I'm dashing, I'm flipping, and I'm doing all the things that generally are going to lead to me keeping my momentum, right? Because this game's about momentums. And so the way you go about kind of starting to learn how to do this is doing exactly what I'm doing here. Just drive around the field as fast as possible in ways that you see making common sense. And what you can do is you can make yourself awkward. You flip into a wall and then try and recover it, right? Use as little boost as possible, recover it with some zap dashes, whatever you gotta do. Just like that. And movement's gonna allow you to free up space that you normally wouldn't have. For example, I might leave a clip, I doubt it though, of Well, I'll just give the example. Zapatos. I don't know how many of you would know him. He's honestly my favorite pro to watch in 1v1s. And something he does, or something he created, is called the Zap Dash. And you can see me using it here. It's where you tilt your car, get the flip, and it like does a pop, and you can get a dash immediately after. And I've scored quite a few goals simply because of this mechanic. Because it allows for a burst of speed. It allows me to like build the momentum of my movement in a way that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. It's an instant wave dash. It's just a funny mechanic of how Rocket League works. And so being able to use these different movement mechanics, such as, you know, jumping onto the wall like this, keeping wave dashes, even chain dashes, which I'm way less consistent at, but I do use them. But even just doing all these different things to keep your momentum, keep your speed, is going to allow you to build situations where you can utilize your mechanics. And so that's why I wanted to talk about part 1 first. Talk about movement first as part 1, is it's all about speed. It's all about mechanics. It's all about movement, because movement is a facilitator. It's a catalyst for the rest of your gameplay. When I have mechanics, you gotta have solid movement. It's something I talk about a lot with Killer Cod, who is one of my teammates and a good friend of mine. And he becomes limited a lot of times in what he can do with the play because his movement is much more narrow. He's not very fluid. And as he improves it, I've seen an astounding amount of progress in terms of just what he's capable of on the ball, to the point where he's better than me in most situations nowadays. Or at least it depends on the situation. But either way, he's improved so much simply because he grinded his movement and he got it to a position where maybe it's not fluid, but it's his own style of consistency. And that's what you want, is you want consistent movement. I don't know if you can hear the train outside, but we'll see if I can edit that in post. But it's a consistent movement. You can see I'm keeping speed, and even when I do mess up, I just recover. See, I don't use any boost for it. It's all about that. Saving your boost, keeping your speed, and being fluid. But that's all I really want to talk about here. That's a bit more surface level. In the upcoming weeks, I'll definitely make a video going deeper into movement and how to improve it. But movement. It's a facilitator, it's a catalyst for all other things. Learn it, use it, love it. Moving on. Alright, and getting into part number 2, we're going to be talking about dribbling. So, talked about movement, now we're talking about dribbling. What the heck? Huh. So, dribbling is one of those core mechanics from Rocket League that has seen less use over time. If you look in the past at someone like O'Khaled, someone like Blake's, and a lot of these kind of older pros, and watch them play 1v1s, what do? Well, they just dribble. They don't really go in the air because they don't need to. O'Khaled literally dominated the one scene with the bounce dribble. And it's because dribbling is a very, very lethal mechanic that doesn't see as much usage in 3s, and so pros have kind of drifted away from it. But in 1v1, look at arguably the best 1v1er in the world right now, Moxie, right? How does he do it? He has the best dribbles in the game. It's genuinely horrifying to look at, as I'm consistently missing this goal. There we go. It's kind of scary to look at how good Moxie's dribbles are. It's glue. And so that's why part 2 I want to talk about dribbling, because dribbling is a way for you to improve your control with the ball. And it, again, I've used the word catalyst with movement. I'm going to use it here again. Dribbling and becoming a very consistent dribbler is a catalyst for opening up what you can do in the game, your opportunity to score. So if you want to become a playmaker, you want to become someone who can consistently, while in game, do things with the ball that is going to make your team get put in beneficial positions, then I'm skipping this one. This one is dribble. Can I skip? Yeah, okay. This one's also not dribble. Yeah. So if you want to become a player who can consistently, like, make plays, consistently put the ball in positions for your team to have a better chance of scoring than if you hadn't, is I guess a good way to explain it, then dribbling is going to be a very, very, very strong kind of tool under your belt. A situation I see dribbling come up a lot is in the corners, or like on defense, right? Get a quick catch, dribble a bit, flick one of the defenders, and suddenly you have a position, right? Whereas otherwise, it might be a bit difficult. Well, nice. And so dribbling gives you so many opportunities. It allows you to outplay defenders, allows you to flick. You can drop it for a low 50 just like that. You can do whatever you kind of want with a dribble. But it comes down to how consistent are you. And I know I already have a video up about dribbling. But like I said, I'm going to be going into it more as a deep dive later on in another video. But for today, I just want to give you the surface level. Dribbling, it's a very, very, very underutilized mechanic. Especially kind of like from what I've seen out of, newer players. Newer players want to go in the air. And I can't blame them. Going in the air is way more fun. But dribbling is what will get you wins. Dribbling is just more consistent. It's easier. It's more effective a lot of times. Surprisingly enough, it is more effective a lot of times simply due to its unpredictability. Because, I mean, if I'm air dribbling, I can't stop the ball like that, So, yeah, dribbling. That's all I really want to say about dribbling. I think, to those of you who are watching this, if you're a bit newer of a player, I genuinely recommend putting the bulk of your hours, first of all, in your movement. Put the bulk of your hours in the movement. But if you want to learn, you want to sit there and learn a mechanic, put your hours into dribbling. Simply because it's gonna give you the tool set you need to start getting into harder stuff. Because once you get good enough at dribbling, well, all of a sudden you're basically there to an air dribble. Because you know how to match your car's speed, you know how to control, you know where to hit the ball, and all these other things. And once you have air dribbling, you can learn every mechanic of the game. But speaking of air dribbling, after I get this one in the net, we are going to be getting on to part 3 of this video, which is going to be aerial game. All right, here we are, aerial stuff. So, man, wow, there's a lot to talk about here, and I will talk about it all. So, in parts 1 and 2, I talked about the really ground-based stuff, your movement and your dribbling. Now, I'm not wrong in what I said. Learn your movement first. Once you have movement down, then it opens up an entire world for you. And I'm also not wrong in dribbling. Once you get dribbling down, you can set up everything else. But dribbling is a great setup for exactly this right here, air dribbles. Now, if you see, air dribbling is something that is highly sought after, is the best word to say. People want to air dribble. They want to flip reset. They want to do these mechanics. And the reason is they're flashy. They look cool, and the pros use them all the time. And I don't blame you. I also use them. I use them all the time as well. And so I want to kind of give a short, brief explanation on each of the mechanics that you're really going to see and how to learn them. Once again, though, I will go on a deeper dive. The air dribble tutorial, I've rewatched it recently. It's a solid video. If you want to get into early air dribbling, go check it out. It gives you some of the tools. But if you don't want to do that, go ahead and wait. I'll have another one coming out relatively soon. I figure air dribbling will come up eventually. So, since I am on the topic of air dribbling, we're going to start there. Air dribbles are kind of the introductional aerial mechanic. They teach you where to touch the ball, how to touch it, and how to, most importantly, match your momentum, your speed to the ball. And that's what air dribbling is all about, it's just speed. People can overcomplicate it. They can be like, oh, you have to touch it in the exact center of the ball, and you have to touch it with the corner of your car, or else you're not going to get it. And sure, those aren't exactly awful tips, but it comes down to speed, right? You want the ball to stick to you like that, you just got to be the same speed as the ball. You want the ball to kind of fly away from you, then be faster than the ball. You want the ball to stick really close to the point where it barely moves, be way slower than the ball. Just like that. As you can see, air dribbling is a simple mechanic that is easy to overcomplicate. You just point your car at the ball, match your speed, and now you're air dribbling. Good job. Right? And yeah, there's the aspect of you want to hit the middle of the ball and you want to pop it for it. But we're not going to get into that here. Just simple, basic, match your speed, and dribble. But to get away from air dribbling a bit, we're going to be getting into flip resets, which are way more coveted than the air dribble. They're more sought out. They're the reason that people are so into air dribbles. Because people see Daniel air dribble into a flip reset all the time. They're like, oh, well, I want to be Daniel. And I also want to be Daniel in my mechanics, but we're not. And so flip resets for us are going to be different, right? As you can see there, the way I just use flip reset is exactly how I recommend you all use it. And that is, once you get it, as an intermediate player, as an intermediate to semi-advanced, what you want to do is you want to play your defense, right? The defense is going to force you into a position. Maybe not force you, but like, when you go in the air, the defense is going to react a certain way. There's two main ways they can react, passive or aggressive. If they're passive, then they're going to be sitting low. They're not going to be challenging you. They're going to be waiting on you to make a mistake. Right? Those are the easy ones to score on. Because all you do is you get your reset, you control it. They're waiting on me. All right, see ya. Right? Or they're waiting on me again. All right, well, I'm just going to control. And, oh, you said low? All right, I'm sending high. And you just shoot over them. Passive defenses are easy to score against. Aggressive defenses, however, those are defenses that attack you sort of immediately. All of you've seen them. We all call them ball chasers, right? They are people who, I'm in the air, I'm getting my flip. Oh, he's already here, right? Then you're cooked. And it's the reason that I don't exactly recommend resets, especially at like newer levels when you don't have as much of a game sense, is that you're going to get hard dunked a lot of times. But what you can do is you take it and you get above the ball for a 50, and you literally just want to 50 that guy. Play him out. He's attacking me. Okay, well, I'm going to 50, right? I flip backwards a bit. I just beat him. Now I'm shooting. You know, same deal here. I'm over here. He's challenging me. He's over there. I get my reset. Oh, he challenged kind of lower. I'm just going to hit over him. I didn't get the reset. But same deal. He's on his backboard right now. Get my reset. Oh, now he's challenging over him, right? And you just shoot. So resets are very utilitarian. Just whenever you get them, just look at your defense, see what they're doing, play it accordingly. I a lot of times don't even like to use my reset, or I'll use it on the ground as a wave dash just to continue a dribble. Simply because defenses are playing me high, well, I might as well go low and 50, because them 50ing me from the ceiling is a lot harder for them to get than me just sitting on the ground like this, right? So the final kind of aerial mechanic I'm going to talk about in this part is the ceiling shot. The ceiling shot is the best cut in the game. I'm kidding. But the ceiling shot is super underutilized. I have a video about it, and I will make another one, as I have said. But the ceiling shot is kind of your like middle point between an air dribble and a flip reset, in my opinion. It's easier to get than a flip reset, but it's harder to do than an air dribble. And all it is you just, you fly up, you hit the ball, and you ceiling shot. Boom. You have an infinite flip, you just do whatever the heck you want with it. The reason I like ceiling shots so much is they're unpredictable, right? Like, I could do this, where I just kind of air dribble over somebody, they challenge me high, so I hit it over. Over here, like, somebody is pre-jumping me now, I just fake, right? Now I don't even have to do the ceiling shot. Or over here, like, I'm in my opponent's corner, I get the boost. I just drive up with it. And, if I was good at the game, I'd shoot that. Let's try it again. But if you see, like, there's so many utilities with the ceiling shot that it's just better. It genuinely is. And it's more consistent. It's easier to do. You see, I haven't missed the flip on the ceiling shot even once. I just want to tell you that I am getting my flip off the ceiling every time on a flip reset, and it's not the case. No matter how good you are, there's going to be times where Rocket League just bums you, right? I'm going over here. I'm just going to get my flip. Ball's still floating. Oh, hello, defender. Bye, defender. Same deal. We're just going up the wall. It's going to float up with me. I'm going to take a bit more time because the ball's a bit slower. Bye, defender. And yeah, you can do all that with a flip reset. But look how much easier it is, so how much less I have to do to get this. Defender challenged me high, I shoot low. Defenders challenged me low this time, I just simply keep the ball up and start air dribbling. The only problem with the ceiling shot is the setup. The setup's much harder to get because it depends on your speed. If you're going too fast with the ball up, then you're not going to get it right. But that's kind of the same thing for flip resets. So I don't dog ceiling shots too much on that because they're both situational. But getting out of kind of the aerial game, some big points I want to say is air dribble first. If you want to start getting into learning these, learn to air dribble first. Air dribbling is going to kind of set you up for everything else. then learn how to do ceiling shots. I told them out of order, but then learn how to do ceiling shots. Ceiling shots is your kind of midpoint. You know, if you can ceiling shot, then you're doing good. You can win. Shoot, if you're consistent at ceiling shots, you could probably win all the way to champ. And if you all would like me if you all would like a video of me kind of coach somebody out of champ using ceiling shots, I'll do it. I bet that would be really fun, actually. So, you know, leave a like or something if you want to see that. And then finally, you want to get into flip resets. So flip resets are kind of your last base, you know, last stage, then you're good type thing. Because of they're high difficulty, they are high difficulty, so that's kind of just what I want to say about it is learn to air dribble first. And learn to watch the defense. Play off the defense. The defense is going to tell you what to do. Not a situation of the defense forces you, but it's like, I mean, if my defense is going to stay low, then I'm going to shoot high, you know? So just watch them, watch what they're doing, and you will be all good. But we're going to be getting into part 4, which is going to be shooting. Alright, and this will be the final part. We're going to be getting into shooting. So, shooting is, I mean, it's shooting. Everyone knows it. No one likes practicing it, but it's something that everybody needs to do. I personally love practicing shooting, but that's just because I'm weird. But shooting is very, very simple, and I talked about it in my recent, most recent video, the most recent tutorial I did. I talked about it just briefly, and it just comes down to momentum. Shooting is purely a game of momentums, right? So, as you see, this ball's kind of flying towards the net. So all I have to do is touch the ball's momentum, or touch the ball in a way so that its momentum carries it towards the net, right? There's zero reason for me to just, you know, try and change the ball's momentum here any. If I was going to, you know, I'd hit it there. Maybe that's a pass back. But since we're talking about shooting, why not just let it rip, right? And so you just literally just guide the ball into the position you want. Shooting is one of those things that it's extremely simple until it's not. Shooting can be the most difficult mechanic in Rocket League depending on the situation. And that is why I suggest people do redirect packs, just like what I'm doing here. Where you take these shots over and over and over again. You try and shoot them in places that would be scored, right? Shoot them in different ways, something like that. And you want to literally, I'm air dribbling this. Oh no. You want to aim for good shots. Because if you were just free playing and doing that over and over again, yeah, I mean, it's good practice. You're going to get on target. But why not also aim for, you know, top corner or something like that? You're going to miss way more often, but you miss now to hit later, right? So that's kind of where I'm at on shooting. You want to just redirect the ball, literally just move its momentum in a way that is beneficial to you. Some ways to go about that are you just, well, I can tell you the main thing is shooting is something that once you've mastered every other mechanic in this video, it becomes easier. Why? Because you have that car control necessary to do it right. You can see here, I'm still missing these shots. And even though I hit them somewhat, I'm still missing simply because my car control is not to the level I need it to be yet. As you can see here, I get my redirect, and I'm doing it all right, but the micro adjustments aren't there. A really good player in SSL is going to hit this top left, top right every single time. And I'm just simply not there yet. And so I have just as much to learn as you all. But what I can say is shooting, this is the best way to practice it. You do your redirects. You do your shots. You just put it where you want. You turn the ball's momentum into the direction you want. Like as you can see here, since the ball's not facing the net, I have to change the ball's momentum, right? You can see right here, I hit the top of it because otherwise it'd be going into the corner. So I change the ball's momentum to head in the direction I want. But here, I just simply continue the ball's momentum in a different direction, right? This one's not going into the net, so I'm going to avert it. If y'all remember the scene from Kung Fu Panda 2, which is crazy, I know. But if you remember the scene from Kung Fu Panda 2, where Po is getting shot at by like the cannons, right? And he does like the martial art mumbo jumbo, whatever it was, and he just brings the ball and uses the momentum. He spins a few times and he sends it right back at the cannons, right? That feeling is exactly what you want here. You want to be, grabbing the ball, shifting it, and moving its momentum to where you want it. In his case, he wanted to redirect the momentum back. Well, in our case, we want to redirect it forward. So we're just going to guide it a little bit. Just a small touch in the direction we want. And it's a bit hard to spot that on the ball without the practice. That's why I heavily recommend redirect packs just like this one. But just any sort of redirects like this. Even getting a teammate on and just as many chances as you can get, sitting upfield, receiving passes, and having your teammate throw the ball to you and just trying to shoot. Just doing stuff like that, you're going to get infinitely better at shooting. And so that's why I like to kind of recommend it last. Because although shooting is the most important thing, people to practice it, and like if you're platinum, diamond even, shooting is going to win you games if you're consistent at it. I'll be honest, so will just knowing how to dribble or knowing how to air dribble or any of these things. Shooting is something that is really easy to learn, but there are no masters, where everybody has some improvement to do. And that is why I want to talk about it last as being the highest skill mechanic, really, is shooting. And it sounds dumb. How can it be the highest skill mechanic when I saw Gainer hit 30 resets? Or whoever's the reset record holder now. Yeah, you could say that. But my counter will always be, if that's the case, then why are open nets so hard? You know? Because we haven't mastered shooting. And we will. We're getting there. But that's where I'm going to end this video off. I'm going to get into like the final part, the conclusion. I'm going to wrap it all together. My gosh, this was a doozy to record. Alright, here we are back on Champions Field. So, I imagine this video being well into the 30-minute mark, and I do not blame you if you all click off, you skip around or whatever. I would, I wouldn't sit there and watch a single video for 30 minutes like that. So, to those of you who have stuck around, who are watching this part right now, genuinely I appreciate it. My gosh, the channel is like, it's been doing good. Getting all these subscribers, getting all these people. I said when I made the channel that my goal was like 25 subs. And the reason being is that I wanted like a consistent 25-ish people where if I was like, hey, does anybody in my server want to run a scrim? They'd pull up and be like, hey, let's run it. And seeing just the number of you all grow and grow, and then, you keep reaching out, sending me these messages of like, hey man, like, loving your videos, here's some things I think you could improve on. Or, hey dude, your thumbnails are great, but here's some things you could do to improve them. And it's getting these comments are kind of like what keeps me going a bit. Because I know that the videos are working. People are leaving comments saying that they have learned mechanics thanks to the stuff I've told them. And honestly, that's the reason I'm here. That's the reason I keep doing this. Because otherwise, I wouldn't really have a reason. Gaining views, gaining subs is nice and all, but at the end of the day, it's just a number that goes up. But what really matters is the real people who are messaging me and, actually gaining something from what I'm saying. So that's why I keep doing this, and that's why I've decided to make this series in particular, going into a super deep dive in these mechs, is that I want to give as much information from my experience as possible, so that people can really put their best forward, put their training regimens in, and really get good at this game. Because that's why we're all here. We want to get good at this game. Whatever your motivations may be, you want to get better, and so do I. So why not stick to it? But enough with the sap biz. That's all I wanted to say. I really appreciate whoever stuck around. As always, thanks for watching. Watching this far. If you could, maybe leave a like or a subscribe. That'd be pretty sweet. I post videos just like this. Like I said, a series is coming out. But we're going to head off of here. Love you. Love you. Bye. Bye. Love you.